Well, 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 what do we have here? A modern light gun solution to play on modern displays.
Wow.
All in one, pretty much plug and play. It's the Retro Shooter Pandora's Box.
Yeah, this is really cool because light gun games, HDMI, modern TVs, that is an awesome idea.
Yeah.
Let's jump into this thing because let's unbox it first.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff in this.
All right, pretty nice packaging here, and as we unbox this thing, holy cow, the guns are broken in half. What the heck? But I think the packaging of this was really, really neat. These guns actually, as we dig into this thing, they snap together, and then there are some screws that hold the guns together. They did send the proper screwdriver with it, so that's a nice little feature. But once these are snapped together and screwed together, the build quality feels really nice on these light guns. Now, with a lot of these emulation type of boxes and stuff, the types of controllers you get are a little suspect. You see the foot pedals here. These are for games like Time Crisis, the ducking mechanic. These PS2 knockoff controllers, they don't feel great. They run on AAA batteries, but we did fire them up and they do get the job done. Here's the actual Pandora's box itself. You'll see there's spots to hook up the foot pedals, controller slots, etc. That's where the foot pedal and the sensors get plugged in. NES styled controllers with 4 buttons on the face, some turbo buttons, etc. These run on AAA batteries as well. And then you got your cords. You got your power cord, which actually has the power switch on it for the unit, an HDMI cord, and some USB cords to hook up the light gun sensors. Pretty simple, but pretty nice packaging. Pretty happy with it. So to pick one of these up, RetroShooter.com. This is not a sponsored video, but we wanted to give our honest opinions because in one of our live streams a couple weeks ago, somebody's like, hey, have you heard of this thing? Have you checked it out? Would love to know your thoughts. We got to make sure you understand we are not experts in the emulation arcade. We've never used a send-in light gun.
I've never played with one of those.
Yeah, but we've played a ton of light gun games, and if you've been around on the channel, we've done light gun buying guides for the PS3, the Wii, the PS2, the PlayStation 1, maybe even the Dreamcast at some point. We played light gun games on the Sega Saturn, so we know how they're supposed to feel.
Yes.
And this, potentially, could be a solution for folks. I don't think it's like a slam dunk solution.
No, I don't think it's 100%, but I do think it's really cool, and it's at least an option for people that don't have the actual consoles and stuff to play it. Like, obviously, we have all the consoles and the guns for every console. So
and CRT TVs.
And CRT TVs that we can do it the OG way. But most people don't have that. Most people just have a flat screen TV and they might have nostalgia and they want to play light gun games at home. This is one of the only options. You know, I guess send-ins out there, but this is a pretty cool option. There's 3 packages you can get of this, of the Retro Shooter Pandora's Box. There's the Retro Shooter Pro, which just is the light gun games. That's all it is. 2 light guns, 2 sensors, 2 pedals, and then the Retro Shooter console. That goes for about $250. It is on sale right now. It's at the time of filming. I don't know if it's going to be on sale by the time you see this, but it is on sale. Then there's the Retro Shooter Gold, which is getting close to $300.
Yep.
This comes with the console, 2 light guns, 2 sensors, and then 2 NES style controllers, 2 PlayStation controllers, and 2 pedals. That's the bundle that we have.
Yeah, these are USB controllers. These are okay. They're definitely not great controllers. They do run, both of these run on AAA batteries, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But we didn't have any issues when playing with them. No. I mean, this doesn't feel like a great build. It feels like a pretty crappy controller.
It feels pretty cheap, but it does work. It does play well. It looks like a PlayStation 2 controller. It's wireless. It's kind of cool. Yeah. The NES one looks like an NES controller with extra buttons on it. It works, you know. It gets the job done.
Not the best controllers.
Not the best.
The Platinum version of this comes with 2 arcade joysticks.
So the Platinum version is the most expensive version. That's $376 on sale right now. That comes with the console, 2 light guns, 2 sensors, 2 NES controllers, 2 PlayStation controllers, 2 arcade joysticks, and 2 pedals.
Yeah.
So that's the deluxe version that comes with everything. It is really cool because this thing does offer arcade games. So if you get the Extreme bundle, you have the arcade stick. But if you have arcade sticks laying around that work on PC, they work on this.
Yeah.
Because we have one for Xbox that also works on PC. it worked great on this. So we didn't have to buy the bundle.
Didn't even have to button map it. I mean, you can do that in the settings, but it just fired up right away. So I think we should probably let everybody know the brains of this thing is a Pandora's Box 10.
Yes.
That's the newest Pandora's Box, I believe. Again, not an expert on this stuff. We do have one of the Pandora Box arcade sticks that has the 2 panels for 2 players.
It's a giant thing, and it's just HDMI and a power thing, which is pretty cool. We use it here and there. We don't have it like permanently set up, so we don't play it a ton. But this is the newest version of Pandora's Box, which means it comes with a ton of freaking games. I think there's 5,000 plus games on this, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, and it's sprinkled over all sorts of consoles. I mean, it's got the NES, the N64, Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, Sega Genesis, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Atari 2600, 5200, Atari Lynx. Probably forgetting some stuff in there.
There's PSP games on this. It's freaking wild. And then what's really cool is Pandora's Box has all this stuff, but then this version has light gun games, and it comes with 80 plus different light gun games that range from the arcade, PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, and NES. So that's a ton of offerings for light gun games. And it's pretty cool because you got your Time Crisis, you got your House of the Deads, you got freaking Duck Hunt, Hogan's Alley. Like, you have all these things that if you're nostalgic for that kind of stuff, this offers that.
So this version, if I understand correctly, it does. I think all Pandora's Box 10s have some light gun games on it, but this version in particular has more.
Yes, it has more.
And it is worth noting, sometimes you're not always getting the arcade version of the game. So Time Crisis is the PlayStation 1 version.
Yes.
House of the Dead is the Dreamcast version. It's not the actual arcade version of the game. Why they chose to go that route, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'd rather play the Time Crisis arcade. I mean, the Time Crisis game on the PS1 is still good. It's still fun, but why? If you're gonna have arcade games on this, why not have the Time Crisis arcade or the House of the Dead arcade? And they only have House of the Dead 2. Like, that's the only. Like, where's the original House of the Dead?
Yeah.
It's really weird. I don't know how they picked some games and then other games they didn't have on, but it's still. It has some.
Yeah.
You know, you can at least scratch that itch. 80 plus light gun games. And it comes with 2 light guns that are pretty well built, I feel like. These light guns, I was worried when I touched up the PS2 controller because it felt cheap. The guns don't feel cheap at all.
No.
These guns are awesome.
Great weight. There is feedback, so recoil to them.
And it has a noise.
The pedal works pretty dang good, and I think the whole reason of this video, if you clicked on it, you're probably wondering, how well do these work?
Yes.
If you've played around with Pandora's Box, it's not the greatest emulation machine ever, but I think it's a great low barrier of entry for folks who don't want to do their own PC build and things like that. It's really plug and play right out of the box. Now, this thing gets very hairy as far as there's tons of cords. Your Pandora's Box literally looks like it's something that's hooked up for surgery. Like, it's got cords going in every side of the console.
It's freaking wild because you got the cord that goes to the gun, and then you have the cord that goes to the pedal.
And then the sensors.
Then you have the sensors.
It's kind of a...
But that's the only way you can do it. So it comes with 2 sensors that you got to put on your TV on opposite ends. That plugs into the box. Everything plugs into the box. I will say what's awesome is all the cords are really long.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about, oh, my TV's big or small.
And you're right up on it.
You get plenty of space, which is really nice. It is weird when everything's plugged in because it's coming out of every which side of the box. But once you get everything set up, it's a little bit confusing to get to the menus. There is a manual online that you can go through. That kind of helps. There is probably YouTube videos too. But you just got to calibrate the guns, and I think it works pretty decent.
So the game that I would say tells us that these are not perfect. They're okay.
Yeah, they work.
Is you do not want to play 2-player point blank on this.
Yeah.
Point blank 1, 2, and 3 are on here, which is awesome. But you guys know how if you've played point blank and you play 2-player, it's competitive, and some of it's so quick, and these just aren't 100% accurate. Now, you can get through Time Crisis with these. You can get through House of the Dead with these, and it is fun. The calibration, I'd say, is decent, and if you just can't move. So once you calibrate, that's where you need to keep your feet planted.
So Point Blank is a tough game to emulate because the mini games in that game are so quick, and sometimes you only get 4 shots. Unless it's calibrated 100% perfect, which I don't think you can with these, it's going to be impossible to play. We did try it, and it was kind of fun here and there, but it's just like you're missing all the time, so it's not competitive. But you can get through it, and you can just fire a ton for Time Crisis, House of the Dead, all the other ones, because you will get close enough and then get it. Lethal Enforcers is another one where you got to be pretty accurate, or else you're going to die. So that's a game you might not want to play if you get this. But I will say, it is fun. It is really cool to be able to be like, oh, I'm playing House of the Dead
Yeah.
on a flat screen TV. Oh, I'm playing Time Crisis on a flat screen TV. It's kind of cool, and you can change like the aspect ratio. You know, it's 69 or this 4:3 square.
And
so that's kind of cool.
That is cool, and you can do that on all the games,
Yeah.
which is a great feature, with the exception of the light gun games. You can't change the aspect ratio.
Oh,
on
so
those
the aspect ratios are only 16:9
on the light gun games.
Okay, yeah, I get that. That is weird.
Yeah, because when you pause it, that option's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's just the gun configuration.
It's really weird. So you calibrate the guns. It is fun. It felt cool. The way it shipped was really cool. You got to build the guns. You know, put screws in them. I like the way they look. It's very, very retro, very nostalgia. I think it's cool if you don't have any other options. Like, if you don't have the old school consoles that offer light gun games and you want that, this is a cool option. And I know it's kind of expensive, but it's not perfect. So don't get your hopes up high.
Yeah, I think, before we started the cameras, and I think we both agreed on this, if we were going to play House of the Dead 2 right now, we would hook up the Dreamcast and play on our CRT way before we would fire this thing up. That goes the same for the Time Crisis games that we have on PlayStation 1. But that being said, most people don't have a CRT TV, and they don't have those old consoles with two guns to play two-player.
Yeah, they don't have all that stuff.
So this is a quick, easy solution. It's just not the best solution.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I'm not mad or anything like that we got it, but I can't say, oh, you have to have this if you're a light gun
No,
fan.
yeah, because light gun games are you have to be very precise and very particular. I think light gun games are one of the hardest things to emulate because of that. So, I mean, this is a great option to get you there, but it's not perfect, and I don't think it will be perfect because it's such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
The best way to play light gun games is the original way to play light gun games in an arcade or on the consoles that it offers it.
And I've heard the Sinden light guns are fantastic, and maybe someday the price point of those will be at a
those
point
are crazy expensive.
where those can come in some packages like this. I think this project is a really cool step in the right direction.
Yes.
It's a really cool thing for light gun fans that we're getting at least the toes in the water for a modern option for these. It's just not all the way there yet. And that being said, we still have a Pandora's Box 10 with tons of freaking arcade games that we don't even have to use the guns for. We can just play the arcade games. So it's cool. It's really tough. Like, I wish it was so cool that would be like, guys, you have to get this.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't think it's a run out and buy. I think if maybe you're intrigued, maybe read your own mail, but it's not going to be perfect. And some of the games, you're going to get frustrated. And I will say, like, it's kind of hard to configure the controller sometimes. There is a little bit of a learning curve with this thing, and you got to spend some time with it when you first get it.
Yeah.
It's not just plug in and you're playing.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, what's the buttons? What am I doing? How do I get to the menus? Hold this. Yeah, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So just brace yourself if you do decide to go down this route. But at least it's an option because there wasn't options,
Yeah, and the foot pedal I think is pretty nice. Feels like a fairly decent build. I mean, it's not the strongest, most durable thing, but you know what? The games work okay.
Yeah.
They're just not perfect. Am I glad we got it? Yes, mostly though, so we could tell you about it.
Yeah.
And the Pandora's Box is a cool emulation. I think if you're just jumping into it, there are far better ways to emulate stuff than a Pandora's Box,
Yeah.
but it does give you a plug-and-play solution for a lot of games that maybe you don't have a chance to play at home.
And it is nice that you can use different controllers that are USB. You can use an arcade stick. You can play kind of how you want to play and emulate these games. So it's kind of cool.
It is. But that's our unboxing, our review of the Retro Shooter Pandora Box. Pretty cool project. Not an amazing project.
Yep.
Hopefully you learned something. Let us know in the comment section below if you've dabbled with this, if this is on your radar, something you want to pick up. We'd love to chat about it. Any questions you have that we didn't hit in the video, we can try help and answer them. We are not experts in this emulation game. We are OG, play the old stuff all the time. So for us, it's just a new thing to talk about that we want to spread the information around. We appreciate you tuning in, subscribe to the channel, and get out of here and go play some retro games. We'll see you next time right here on the one and only Gaming Off the Grid.